Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday Wisdom. My name is JB Hilliard, and these are short video snippets of information designed to answer questions you may have about estate planning or probate, which are my primary practice areas, or other legal concerns that may be swirling around in your head. And for this week, I thought I'd talk a little bit about, on the estate planning side, about putting a piece of property, primarily your house, I'm talking about your residential location, into a trust or into the name of another entity. Maybe you're setting up an LLC or some other protective entity, and you want to put your property under that name. And so some of the things that people know how to do, generally speaking, or know how to find out how to do, is to transfer the name of the property in the form of the deed. And so whether that's a quitclaim deed or other type of warranty deed, people typically know that, how to fill that out and how to file that in their jurisdiction. But there are some other things that I don't think people think as much about, if at all. And so I just want to bring those to the forefront to bring to your attention. One of the main things I always ask about, even if you're adding a spouse to a title, maybe you initially bought your home, your property as a single person, and then you later got married and your spouse moved in with you, and then adding that spouse to the title or to the ownership deed of that property. I always tell clients to check with your lender. If you still have a mortgage balance, you're still paying on the mortgage of that property, you want to make sure that the lender is okay with the title changes. Usually with a spouse, that's not an issue, but if it's with any other third party, or if you're changing it to the name of the trustee of your trust that you're creating or wanting to create, then that could be an issue. And a lot of times, well, I won't say a lot of times, but there could be times where you may have a lender that, or in your loan documentation, you may have a provision for a mortgage due on sale clause, which says that the lender could call whatever the loan balance is to be all due at the time of the sale, or in this case, transfer, even if it's not actually a sale. But you want to make sure that that provision doesn't prevent you from transferring title into a trust or into an LLC ownership. So that's one thing that sometimes people don't think about. And a couple other things that you don't think about are taxes and insurance. So let's first talk about insurance, where you have your property insurance, and in particular, a part of that should be your liability insurance for your property. And sometimes the existing policy doesn't automatically carry over to a new owner, even though it's the same property. Maybe you have to add on the trust as an additional insured, or change the policy title owner altogether. And so you want to, again, check with your insurance company to make sure what you're doing is going to align with what your coverage is, or to make sure that you stay covered, your property stays covered. And on the taxes side, you want to also check to make sure, depending on how the trust is written, drafted, or what type of trust you have, that if you're the main resident in your property and you are entitled to certain either homestead exemptions, in a lot of jurisdictions we have homestead exemptions, or any other type of property tax exemptions. There are veterans exemptions, senior exemptions, and a whole host of other things depending on where you live, that once you transfer title to something or someone else, you lose all of those tax advantages. So you want to check that, and just make sure that you're looking at the bigger picture, and not just, I want to protect my house and leave it to my kids, or leave it to this group of people, or protect it against creditors, or whatever your reasons are. But you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and see how the decisions here are going to impact in the longer term, and what those consequences will be for that change in ownership of your property. So with that said, as always, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.